Today we're going to make us an autumn wreath. I have various ribbons here. All of these came from the Dollar Tree, including a 14-inch wreath form. The mesh tubing that we are going to be using, I have 3 different colors, orange, green, and gold. Then the actual mesh itself, this is an autumn selection. This came from Dollar General. And this orange on brown actually came from AC Moore. You can still get this at Michael's and various places. So let's get started. And you're going to need plenty of pipe cleaners. Now on my brown mesh, these are 21-inch long spools of mesh. And I want to cut this about 7 inches wide. And I cut mine with a pair of scissors because they're less fray. And this particular mesh is not high quality mesh. It's really thin, very bendy, and it frays really bad. So if you got any fray edges, you want to get rid of those. Now on this pattern one that I'm doing, it is plaid, so it's not going to matter whether I cut it this way or whether I cut it this way. What I'm doing with it, guys, is on the outer perimeter of our wreath form is where we're going to attach it. And I'm going to make like a ruffle around this outer perimeter. There are 6 sections in the 14-inch wreath. And I know that I want to attach it 3 times to make a ruffle. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut these 10 inches wide. Since each square represents an inch, I know that all I have to do is count down 10 inches and cut my mesh. Just an FYI, even though that mesh starts turning and wiggling and going back and forth, I cut it just like I do fabric. I follow that print all the way down the side edge, and I'll do the next the same. But as you see, they are equal whenever you do that. It's just the way that the mesh is rolled on the tubing, and because it's plastic and flexible. So just stay with your pattern and just cut along the edge and count out 10 of your squares. I want to cut these pieces in half, and that will give me the burlap kind of look that I am going for on my wreath. And then that way I'll have these pieces to go along with my ribbon. Mesh tubing, I have the gold, the green, and the orange. And I want to do on this, the way I'm building this out in my head, because we haven't put the wreath together yet. So I'm going to get my tubing out. And I'm going to cut 6 pieces that are at least 30 inches. So I'm going to cut 6 pieces of each color at 30 inches. Now the ribbon that I select, I'm going to also cut it at 10 inches. And then I basically just cut me one and use that as my guide and just stack them together. Just makes it easier, and it just moves more efficient. If you're going to dovetail, you want to go ahead and do that. So you will turn your wire to one side. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to turn mine to the left. You'll come in at a 45-degree angle, and you will cut all the way to the tip. Main thing is you want them to look really nice. You don't want them to look cheap. So if cutting them individually works better for you, that's what you need to do. The main thing is all in the detail when it comes to making a wreath. You got to get your prep done. Once you get your prep done and you start putting your pieces together, the quality you'll just find is much, much improved because you took that time to prep it properly. Now I got all of my ribbon cut. I went ahead and dovetailed, and I have also divided up and cut in half my 6-inch burlap that I had wanted to reuse. Now these are all 10 inches long, and I've done my dovetail on them. And on my burlap, I will dovetail those as well. The next thing we want to do is we want to prepare our wreath form. So I'm going to move my ribbon out of the way and show you that. It's putting our ruffle on the outside of the wreath. So I've just got me 3 pipe cleaners, because on the wreath form itself, you will want to use your whole chenille stem. So do not cut them. But on this particular thing, these are the pieces I had you to cut, And the way I'm going to do this is it naturally wants to roll inward, so that's great for me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the end, and I'm just going to like take my thumbs and just try to bundle it together there on the end. That's all I want to do, because I want this to ruffle out. And I'm going to tie it to the outer part of this ring. So I'm going to take my chenille stem, I'm going to put a little twist in the center here, and I'm going to actually tie it to the outer part of my wreath form. I want kind of 3 ripples going here, and so I'm going to catch it here. And once again, I'm going to take that, and now that I've got the one tied, I can just take my chenille stem and I just give it some twists, and I just tuck it underneath out of my way. And then I'm going to push it down. I'm going to catch it again and do the same thing. I'm going to have to put my chenille stem around it to get hold of it. Once I twist that, I will tie it on to my end here. That way I have a ribbon scallop going around the outer extreme of my wreath form to create that ruffle. And don't look like much now, but when we get done, it will be really pretty. And then that way the rough edges of that mesh are naturally rolling inward and give us that puffy effect that we're wanting on this outside. Okay, so we got our ruffles going. Now, if it works best for you, go ahead and put your ruffle on the outside and then put your bundles in the center. So let me show you how to make the bundle. Now, we are going to use what I call the blossom method. If any of you follow this Southern Girl Can, she also calls it the blossom method, because it looks like a beautiful blossom when you get it made. And you will want a whole pipe cleaner for this. So let me show you how to do this. If you're familiar with this, that's great. I am going to do mine a little bit different as far as what I layer in my bundles. So this one has the orange in it, and I've used 2 different ribbons. So basically, you put your thumbs here, fingers here, and you just start scrunching it towards you. And you want it to swishy, swishy, swishy. That's fine. That's perfect. If you have arthritic problems, get you a clothespin to hold this. Next, we're going to use our tubing. This one has the gold in it. This blossom, I said orange, but it actually has the gold. This is the orange. And because these are 30 inches, basically just kind of bring them together. And it's kind of a 4-fold. You got one here, and try to get them semi-even to where your fold is equal. Tuck that there in between your fingers. Now we're going to lay our ribbon there. Take your chenille stem, catch it halfway. If it works better for you to fold them so that you can get that halfway point, and basically just put them right there acrossways, and just catch it in the middle, don't let go, and give it a good twist back there. You've got that section made, and you can fluff these out once you kind of get them situated. Sometimes if it makes you feel better, you can go ahead. I think it's in our nature. I think it's in our nature to fix it right then. We just got to fix it. We can't stand it. So we want to kind of make sure that everything stays stacked like that, so that they're in the order that you put them in. And I always just try to straighten my bows out a little bit, my little blossoms. So we got our first part made. You'll take more of your mesh, scrunchy, 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 scrunchy. You want to kind of keep that consistent. You don't want to like reach way out here. You want to kind of you just kind of walk your fingers and just let it happen, and let it swishy out all it wants to. And that's the idea. We want it to be swishy, and that helps to build bulk into the bundles. So we got that one. Now on this one, we're going to actually, so take your burlap we cut, place it there. Then next you want to pick out a ribbon of the ones that you chose and place it there. Bear in mind, this is going to be the bottom of your blossom. So since we have this top, we're going to turn it this way. just like that. And we're going to tie them to get on top of that. That makes it easier if you've already got your first part of your blossom made. So you're going to turn it this way. You're going to bring that chenille around that bundle. Now you have that bundle made. So now you have your two going, you have one bundle going this way and one bundle going the opposite way. And then, like I said, you can fix them up and make adjustments to straighten out your bundle. Everything looking good. So now that you've got your bundle made, and these are absolutely gorgeous. So we have two bundles made. What you will do then is on your wreath form, you're going to be placing that around these two bars in the center. And you're just going to take and, of course, tie them on just like you do anything else. And you can make deviations how you want your wreath to look. And just go ahead and give them a little twist once you get it on there. Just one bundle, so you see how that's kind of fallen, and that's why we made that ruffle really big, because we want it to puff out. And you may even end up adding more ruffle on this side just so it is more puffy. And I will see once I get my wreath form made. And so what I will do is I will plug in my bundles here. Now I have a very shallow door. I can't make mine very puffy or thick, so you can put as many bundles in here as you want. I did give you the count of 18. That's generally what 16, or so generally is sufficient for this ring, and that will fill this up. So I'll start out putting 3 in each one, if it will fit, and then wherever it's a difference, I may just put a bow or add a bundle or a sign or something. So we'll get to that point and see how it works out. So you'll just tie your bundles on, and I'll be putting one with my green in it, and I will make that blossom with the green tubing that I had. And then that way, that will almost work like leaves within my wreath form to give it more color and help bounce off the green and reflect the green that's in this ribbon, since I decided to add green into mine. But this would look beautiful just like this, or do them all just like this. And just really depends on what look you're going for. And they'll just kind of even it up and make it look really, really nice. Okay, so we've got our wreath together. And what I did change up is I used black mesh because I ran out of this autumn mesh that I had gotten from Dollar General, and I only had partial of a roll, but it worked out great. Now I have this sign from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to take the back stake off of it because this was the garden stake sign, and I'm going to place it here in the center and tie it down, and then that way it doesn't take away from the whole scape. And I'll show you. Our little red truck themed wreath turned out absolutely beautiful. There is a total of 18 blossoms on this wreath. You will have 6 green, 6 gold, and 6 orange. If you arrange it the way I did, just spread them out once you get them situated onto your wreath, and they will reflect the colors of autumn just perfectly. All of the supplies, the measurements, and everything you will need to create this wreath or one of its sort will be in the description box down below, and they are precise. She ended up being 21 inches wide. Absolutely beautiful. If you like this video, guys, please give it a thumbs up. It lets me and YouTube know that you enjoyed it and you appreciate videos of the sort, and they will be glad to suggest more like her to you. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and consider subscribing. Make sure you read the comments and suggestion boxes down below, because every one of you are a part of my DIY team and makes the suggestions of your own. Until the next DIY, I'll be crafting, y'all. This is Elizabeth, over and out. Bye, guys.